Alright, hopefully a quick response video to Joe. If this quick capture works, sorry about that, but gotta make it quick. Got to be in Stickham in a while, which is a place I do go, and we could talk economics there, so if you get an account there, it's stickam.com, and it's like Skype, except it's a whole room full of people and such, so it's pretty good. Yeah, it gets a little rough in there, a little aggressive sometimes, but you know, you might like it. Nick didn't like it; it was a little beyond his sensibilities. But anyway, I don't think. I mean, yeah, going back and forth would probably be helpful, but we're still going to argue about this stuff because the facts just aren't. There's not enough facts on the table. Maybe neither one of us are providing. So yeah, I went to your website again, and I looked it through, and yeah, there's not much link to any facts. And then I went to your Monetary Institute place there, and so I read through a whole speech this guy gave at the Treasury Department, this Zokolov guy or whatever he is. And he sits there and wastes my time with this whole explanation of the history of money and talking about gold and paper money and counterfeiting and all this other crap, and it just really doesn't have anything to do with what money is, which is just a note. It's an IOU. It's a pawn ticket. All right. I mean, if I opened a pawn shop and I gave somebody a ticket for the stuff they gave me, that could be described as what money is. And if you ran the pawn shop with no self-interest and no maliciousness, I mean, it would be a pretty reliable. Pawn slips would be reliable things, and blah blah blah. Let's presuming they can't be counterfeited and all the other crap. And that's really the value of money, is that it's a guaranteed contract. You go someplace with the ticket and you can guarantee to get stuff, and you can do transactions with your own stuff with this intermediary stuff, this stuff replacement. It's a placeholder for stuff, but it's not. If you make it up, if you just invent it without any stuff initiating it, it's not going to have value very long. Unless, well, it's doable, but the value has to be preserved. You have to take steps to make sure the value it retains its value. And your idea that you can print 3 or 4 or $500 billion a year in new money without destroying old money, without taking out of circulation just as much as you put in, I think is just on its face ludicrous, because every dollar the next year will be worth less. So if I hold a dollar bill, if I have one in my possession, I'm going to be saying, how can I unload this piece of crap? Because tomorrow, because Joe's going to spend 500 billion more of these, he's going to put 500 billion more into circulation. This ain't going to be worth crap. It's going to lose 10% of its value every year. So I can't keep this as money. I got to get rid of this shit. And if I put it in the bank, all right, and there's no fractional reserve banking, well, then there's no banking really. All banking is fractional reserve banking. If the bank does not give a part of this, a fraction of this away in the form of a loan, there's no banking. And so the argument is how low a fraction does the bank have to keep? How low does the fraction have to be? But to say no fractional reserve banking means no banking. I mean, you're not going to get any interest on your money then. Your money will go in 1 year. You'll get nothing back. And when you... Holy crap. I knew that was going to happen. I just knew it. I said, don't put the camera there, asshole. And I did anyway. But this is not, ideally, I want banking that has no interest. People don't make money on money and all that kind of crap. So, yeah, great if we can get all the way to that far in the future, but don't pretend it'll be a bank anymore. Don't pretend I will need a bank. I can secure my own money, so I won't need a bank if I'm not getting any interest. And you will not get any interest in a bank that is not applying some kind of fractional reserve banking. Like I said, the argument is about what fraction, 10%, 20%, 30%, but there's no argument about fractional reserve banking, because there's no banking without it. Because then, like I said before, every loan will have to be collateralized twice. So interest rates will be preposterous. And if you're printing $500 billion every year, the interest rates are going to have to be 20%. because inflation is going to be 10% a year. All right, so again, I don't really want to argue this stuff with you. I mean, if you're unyielding, you're unyielding, but I don't even see the point of it. Okay, I mean, the federal budget, 500 billion is nothing. Nothing. Um, it's a lot. It's Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of money. But I just mean it's not the whole budget. So you're going to have to tax anyway for the substance of the money to finance government. So why not just tax it? Why print any of it? Why do anything to corrode or degrade the value of money? Let it keep its value and tie its value to a basket of commodities. A bushel of wheat, a bushel of corn, a house, a 4-bedroom house. We can find some fixed commodities to tie it to. Some silver, some platinum, some other kind of metal that's not used for jewelry. Let's go find one of those and tie it to that metal. And a basket of these things, and print the money in accordance with those values. So yes, as the money gets more valuable, as the population increases, then you can simply adjust the value by printing a little bit more extra money that isn't tied to an asset, that isn't taxed an asset. So what? Yeah, so that's doable, but printing it is just silly in my opinion. Oh, who the fuck would be calling me now? God damn it. Shit. Well, anyway. Alright, I'll get back to you in the second part.